Hey guys, what's going on? This is Market Omega coming to you this Friday with another weekly recap. I'll be going over trades from this week, so without further ado, let's go. All right, so as far as this week, man, it's been kind of slow for small cap traders. Okay, um, it's just been kind of like really choppy. Like when you look at some of the stocks that we've had this whole week, a lot of them have just like gapped up and crapped. Like they will gap up and then they just kind of fade. And that's basically been the theme for a lot of these micro cap stocks. Now, just to take a look at the overall market, the SPY, we're actually in this range right here, right? So, obviously we know Biden is going to be in office, and now we're like pivoting into what his first 100 days is going to be like. So his number one goal is to pass the stimulus, right? And he's got this 1.9 trillion stimulus package that he wants to pass. Now, it's got a lot of stuff in there. It's going to help a lot of people, and state and local, extended unemployment. Let's not forget the $2,000 stimulus. Just the $2,000 checks. Sorry. So the market took a dip because now there's doubt that he'll be able to pass the 1.9 trillion because there are some Democrats that are moderate, so they don't favor a high, too much printing, right? Too much money printing and too much spending. They just don't like stuff like that. So there's actually doubt that he'll be able to pass it. So it's just kind of like up in the air. I mean, eventually, I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up passing, but they're probably gonna have to revise it 2 or 3 times. So that's why the market is kind of like we're like in this choppy section and we're dipping. Sorry, my phone is ringing right now. So yeah. So just hopefully if they pass it, we should continue onwards. Probably hit my target. The target is 400 to 420. Now, as far as the stocks from this week, so on the 11th, which was on Monday, I didn't trade. I had a lot of stuff to take care of, so I just didn't trade. But I did trade on Tuesday, which was the 12th, and there was a few stocks that were gapping up, but LMNL was the stock that actually stood out. So, how did I trade at LMNL? So, let's see. So, it was right here. I took a trade right here. It was like a huge, double bottom with a higher low. This is a nice little setup right there. So, let me show you guys here. It's a nice, perfect pattern. It's my favorite pattern right there. One of my favorites. My favorite is the double bottom. But yeah, so this is beautiful. Okay. So I basically took a trade right there and then scaled out and made some money, and then I came back to take another trade, and I think where was that? This was where was that? I think it was somewhere around. Yeah, so it was this pattern right there. So this pattern. So I basically took a trade right there. Normally we'll resolve, like break through this area and then like resolve and then just keep going, but we basically broke it and then just splash. So I ended up giving back a lot of gains from that. So that was that for LMNL. The other one was ACTC. So ACTC was a higher price stock. So ACTC, I think right here was like the all-time high break or something. So basically, I got in. The first trade that I took was in pre-market. So that was like the first trade. It was in pre-market, and where was that? Oh gosh, guys, bear with me, okay? No, actually, no. That wasn't in pre-market. It wasn't pre-market. It's not. That's not the stock. So the first trade that I took was right here. So it was this pattern right here. So I basically got long right there on this break. Boom, scaled out on the move. Made my money right there. So that was it. So that was the basically the that was basically this trade that I took right there. And I could have gotten in right there when when it did that red to green, but I missed it. But I got long right there and made some money. And then we had on the 13th we had ACOR. So ACOR. So this stock, right? All right. So a couple things. Well, first I took a trade in pre-market off of this break right there. Where was that? It was somewhere around there. Basically took a trade and then basically scaled out. I almost got a point off this move. It was really easy. So this was an easy trade, and then market opened. So pretty much when the market opened, the stock was behaving a certain way. Right on the tape, and if you guys know, the underwriters of the stock were HCW. They're a firm. I forgot the actual full name of the company, but the initials HCW. And if you guys know those underwriters, they'll always do some kind of shady stuff. They're pretty much, their goal is to dump shares. They just want to dump into the buyers. And they always do it based off of they create artificial liquidity or artificial price action and get longs to chase, and then they dump. That's what they do all the time. So basically, when I started research and I saw that they were the underwriters of the stock, I just left it alone. Got my trade right there and just left the remainder alone. And we had FRSX. So FRSX was a midday runner, right? FRSX was really good. It was like a really, really good stock. It was, where was that again? It was, so it was right here. So FRXX, I basically took a trade right there, where did I take a trade? So basically it was right here. So I basically got long right here on this break, right? So I basically got long. Boom, scaled out. And then, I scaled out on this move, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm done with it, because this is not like the ideal time to trade. And, I just basically got some money off this move and stepped aside, only to see this thing go from my entry point all the way to 780. This is over a point, literally over a point. So, I wasn't gonna chase that, but it was just surprising to see it go over a point from my sell price. So we also had DPW. So DPW on the 14th. So the way I traded the stock, I figured this stock. Well, first of all, right here on the 13th, it opened, chopped around, and it sold off, right? And then it just did this after hours squeeze of some kind of news and basically blew out a lot of shorts. So coming into this day, I'm thinking, well, there are people that shorted right here because this thing retraced. It went all the way from 692 to 530s. This is over a point, right? A point retrace. So coming into the market, I was thinking, well, there's still a lot of shorts just trapped in this name because, over the last few weeks, actually last few months, people have been shorting the stock, right? After we had this crazy move in June, it's just been downhill ever since, right? So if you look at the daily right here, I think, where was it? We had a crazy move, right? We had a move right here in June, and then we had another one right here in November. So when I was looking at this, I'm like, well, it kind of looks like a lot of longs are bagged on this, right? And people have been shorting this thing as well. So going back intraday, I'm thinking, well, a lot of people are short this thing, and they were short from right here. And, we could get a squeeze at least to kind of blow them out a little bit before the eventual drop. But so I basically got long along at the open, and then I just got dumped on, so I took the loss and stepped aside. So yeah, so that was that for DTSS. DPW. After I took that loss, I was just done with it. And then we had DTSS. So guys, DTSS was like crap. This stock, okay, this stock just took a lot of people for a ride. So DTSS was gapping up, and I think they were the same underwriters, right? They were the same underwriters as ACOR. So it's HCW, Hain. I don't know whatever the name of the company is, but they were like the underwriters for the stock. So every time I see that, I know that look, it's a lot of games. They're just gonna play a whole lot of games on the stock, right? And they're gonna try to basically dump into the fake liquidity they create, and let me go back on the 1 minute. So around the open, I was watching this thing, right, and it's like right here. Initially, I got long right here on this, this pattern break, and then it popped up, and then I got, I sold for a gain, but then I tried to get back in, but then I stopped out. Now they like every time the stock will pop up, they will short it. Every time it'll pop up, they'll sell, and it just around this area, this 420s area, is just like hidden sellers. There were a bunch of hidden sellers right there, that 420 area, and every single time it'll pop. It'll like literally pop to like 420s, and if you look at the tape or you look at the level 2, right? There's like nobody. There's like there's the size isn't large, right? You probably see like a 0 or like a 1 right there, but it just wouldn't move. It won't move past between 420s and like 425s. So whenever you see stuff like that, I just know there's an iceberg order and somebody is like selling, right? So whenever it will get stuffed around that 420s, it'll drop. But then when it came down below 4s, it got bought back up. So, it kept doing that, and it kept doing that, and it kept doing that. It did that a bunch of times. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, you know what? The tape, there's just like huge reclaim. It kept reclaiming 4, right? It kept reclaiming 4. So every time I saw that, I'm like, well, looks like somebody is bidding this thing. They're secretly bidding the stock. So I basically got long right there, somewhere around here, and I was like, they try to pull that same stuff again, right? That 420s, it will drop, and I just held. I'm like, well, this time I think it's gonna go because, right here it got stuff to like the 420s and got stuff 420s, but this time it went all the way up to 439, and then it then got stuffed, right? But then it kept creating a bunch of higher lows while it was doing it. So, I'm like, well, this thing looks like it's going to rip. So I held it, basically got the rip, boom. And that was it. So I basically scaled out on this move right there. And then we got the fade. We got the fade and all of that. So I didn't want to be bothered with it. I just wanted to make my money on the drive and then just leave it alone because, just knowing how the stock was trading right here, there's just going to be a lot of games. So I just didn't want to be involved in the games. I just wanted to, get my money and get out. All right. So so that was that. Those are like the main stocks that we had this week. We also had SAVA. Forgot to mention SAVA was running. So SAVA was running. It was running the same day as FRSX, right? So it ran on the 13th, and SAVA was really good though. I basically just bought the dips because it was nice. It was uptrending and uptrending on huge volume. So just basically bought the dips, sold the rips. So that was that. That's that for this week. Gotta check out Tesla. Let's see how Tesla is doing. So still in like this chop area. We're still in the chop right here. It's chop consolidation. Hopefully they pass the stimulus and we can all get a rip on our stocks. So that's basically what I'm hoping for. So SPY right here, same thing, chop. We'll see what happens, guys. Hopefully, if this stimulus passes, which I think it would, then we can see some upside rip. Okay, so as far as small caps, small cap, micro cap land is just we've seen a bunch of gap and crap. It's mostly just gap and crap stocks. They just gap up and then they just faded. Well, with the exception of BNGO and OBSV. We have like AMTX, basically just gapped and crapped. EDTK, gap and crap. What else? DBVT, gap, crap. So, it's just been like that. And then VIVP, we got the spot right there, but, still faded. So, it actually closed below the open. It's crazy. And then the biggest disappointment of them all is CHRA. So CHRA was supposed to be like, I was watching CHRA, I was like thinking, we're going to probably get some consolidation and then a rip. Nope. Just basically faded. So that's that, though. You guys have been great. Guys, that's all for the weekly recap. Don't forget to subscribe to madassmoney.com. Link is in the description below. And, we usually run sales in the chat room. So, when you subscribe, just, ask for Market Omega once you come in there. And feel free to hit me up in private message. I'll do my best to respond to whatever inquiries or questions that you might have. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Market Omega. Link is in the description below. I'm sorry, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Market Omega. Turn on post notifications so you get notified every time I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at Market Omega. I usually post my ideas, my thoughts on everything from stocks to cryptocurrencies to sports and just life in general. All right. You guys have been great. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back next week with another weekly recap. Take care.